Piggybacking off of my last video where I spoke about the whole digital game keycard situation and the Nintendo Switch 2 may be my last console, I got a lot of positive feedback on that video, and I would like to thank all of y'all from the bottom of my heart for supporting me, and I garnered a lot of subs off of that video. It seems like a lot of you all really feel my pain and really do not want to see physical media go away, and you guys really do not like the all digital future that is soon to be up on us. Thank you guys for your support. Keep on liking my videos and keep subscribing to my videos so I could bring you great video game news, gameplay, unboxing, anything and everything video games and electronics. So let's speak about the topic of the Switch 2 and why it may be my last console. As I said in the last video, guys, I don't like where the industry is heading, and Nintendo is following in the competition's footsteps. And we all thought that Nintendo would be the last bastion for physical media. They would be the last company to hold out. And we all know this because Nintendo love physical media. They love cartridges. They're known for making great games and preserving their great games. And all their handhelds has been physical media. Now I've got my comment section bombarded by people saying that the Switch 2 may also be their last console, and some people have told me that the Switch 1 is their last console because they do not like the direction Nintendo is heading in, and they, not convincing me that the Switch 2, the Switch 1 should be my last console as well, but they said that the Switch 1 is going to be their last console because they want to show Nintendo that they do not like the direction that they are heading in. And I support them 100% on that. But as I said, I'm going to stand my ground, and the Switch 2 is going to be my last console. We don't know going into the future, several years from now, Nintendo may turn around on their decision, see the negative backlash that they're getting, and start making different size cartridges and making the cartridges a fair price so developers can put more of the games on cartridges. Nintendo did, as well as third party, did an excellent job of supporting cartridges regardless of the price with Nintendo Switch. The Nintendo Switch, mostly all the games that are available for the system can be found on a cartridge, and that to me is amazing, especially in 2025. And going into the Switch 2 lifespan, I see myself 100% still buying the OG Nintendo Switch physical games, and not to mention your backwards compatible library. Your old Switch library will be enhanced on the Switch 2 for the most part. So Switch games will see better frame rates and better resolution on the new Switch via Xbox Series style. So there's still much value in purchasing physical games for the Nintendo Switch going into the Switch 2 lifespan. So that's crazy. So it's like the Switch 2 may be my digital console, and the Switch 1 is going to be my physical console. And it's cool that we can still play our backwards sorry guys, it's cool that we can still play our old Switch library on the Switch 2 with these enhancements in mind. Now moving along here, I came up with a great idea. Well, it may not be great to some, and it has been done before, because what I'm about to tell you, Nintendo have done this with the NES Famicom back in the days. Okay, I came up with an idea. Nintendo can actually come up with rewritable cartridges. What I mean is, back with the Famicom, Nintendo had, I believe, a floppy disk add-on with kiosks set up all over Japan, where you can take that floppy disk, go to one of those kiosks, purchase a game, and download that game to the floppy disk. And you could also rewrite that game by purchasing a new game. And in theory, that was actually kind of a cool idea. So what am I getting at? Being that these developers don't want to pay the high price for the Nintendo Switch 2 cartridges, what Nintendo can instead do is drop those different size cartridges on the consumers, have them in store where you can buy different size Nintendo Switch 2 cartridges. You pop it in your Switch 2, purchase a game from the eShop, and download it to the cartridge, basically writing that downloadable game to your cartridge. And if you purchase another game, you can also overwrite the game that was previously on the cartridge with a newer game, or just go out and buy another cartridge and keep it moving like that. So what am I getting at is, say for example, Street Fighter 6 is 50 gigs, right? You can go out and get a 64 gig cartridge at the store, pop it in your Switch 2, download Street Fighter 6 to that 64 gig card, and boom, that game is preserved on a cartridge. Now, if I want to get Bravely Default, which is, I think, less than 20 gigs, if my memory serves me correct. I could be wrong, guys. I don't really have the size differences in front of me. You go buy another card, maybe a 16 gig card, and you download Bravely Default to that game card, and with the option to rewrite new games on that card, to overwrite the games that you previously bought. So basically, Nintendo can offset those cartridges to the consumer, and you just purchase your cartridge, go to the eShop, and download whatever game to that cartridge, and your game is preserved. That's actually a good idea in itself, the more that I think about it. I don't know how that would work in practice, but it's an idea. Man, I'm giving Nintendo all kinds of ideas. They should be paying me. So, guys, moving along from that. Now, we're all excited for the Switch 2 launch, right? Which is, wow, a few weeks right around the corner. I cannot believe it. A lot of people have also told me in the comment section that they're not too excited for the Switch 2 anymore. And we all know that's because of the all digital future. And I'm right there with them, because I was so excited when they showed the Switch 2, man. Honestly, guys, when I watched the Nintendo Direct, I was, 1,000% excited. But my morale for the Switch went from 100% excitement to around 65% excitement. That's a pretty decent drop, but a low drop at the same time. Reason being, guys, too, I think after the Switch 2 hype, when it launches and everybody has it in their hands, and I think a year from now, maybe the morale for the Switch 2 might drop due to the fact that Nintendo is pushing these game key cards over cartridges, man, because Nintendo is losing it. It seems like they're losing their identity. And I believe his name is Yoshida, the guy from Sony, the former Sony president. He had a short interview recently where he commented on Nintendo. He commented on the Switch, and he said that to him, Nintendo is losing their identity. And I never really thought about it. I thought he was tripping, because Sony's the last company that should ever comment on Nintendo. They shouldn't comment on Nintendo at all, especially with their bad history. Because Sony runs their company different, and Nintendo runs their company different from, Xbox and Sony. So I don't think, each company should be commenting on how those other companies, or how each other do businesses, because there are three different companies and they're going to do businesses differently. That's just how business is ran. But the more I thought about it, he started to make a lot of sense, because Nintendo was the last bastion for physical media. They're supposed to hold out on physical media. I mean, for crying out loud, the Switch 2 has a cartridge slot. So even if Nintendo is going to go digital one day, being that the Switch 2 supports physical media, why not just still go ahead and push physical media all the way like you did with the OG Switch until you finally come out with a console or a handheld that's all digital? But if you have a console right now, a hybrid that supports physical media, mostly having digital software should be out of the window. That shouldn't even be a thought. Why not have them in unison, just like you did with the OG Switch? And the OG Switch, man, they did such a phenomenal job with supporting physical media. Pretty much almost every single game that's available on a Nintendo Switch, which is a lot of games in the thousands, are on a cartridge. I definitely respect that. But with the Switch 2, I feel like going into the future, not many games are going to be on cartridges. More games are going to be, more developers are going to be using those game key cards. And I don't like that, guys. I mean, the digital future is real scary. So I don't know, guys. I'm just thinking going into the Switch 2, we may get less games on cartridges and more of those game key cards. So we definitely have to vote with our wallets and not. I can't tell people what to do. I'm not telling you to don't buy these game key cards and don't support digital media. That'd be selfish of me to say, but I can only speak for myself as an old school gamer. Nostalgia plays a part of it, but honestly, man, I'm on the side of preserving video games. And I know that some of these older systems, for example, like the Wii and the PS3, for examples, you can still go into the store, at least that's what I'm hearing, and re-download all your purchases. And that's cool. I respect that from, my favorite video game companies, but that can still go away any day. What if one day the source code is lost? You just never know, guys. Anything can happen. It's still all digital. Anything can happen. Anything can go awry. Anything can go wrong. And one day those re-downloadable games are gone too. It's definitely a possibility. Some guy told me in the comment section that, with PC, well, pretty much as long as there's a code out there, everything is archived. And you know what? He has a point on that, because there are archives out there where you can go online and download some old games. I've done that before. So, I respect that. But I remember the last time, even those archive games were in danger of being shut down. I've definitely seen that, and some of those sites have gotten shut down. And you can always reopen the site and find new archives, man. But I'm getting too old for that. I don't have any time to be searching for archive files online. I just want to just go to the store, buy my game, or go to my shelf and just select a game from off my shelf and pop it and play it. I don't care about source codes and all that stuff. I don't have time for that, man. We outgrow stuff like that as time go on. And I was that guy that used to spend like a whole day several years ago when the Vita was still a thing. I spent a whole day trying to hack the PS Vita, and I finally got it. So, I was that guy, man. I was that guy looking for those emulators and just downloading old school games and playing them on PSP until this day. I still have a hacked PSP and several hacked Vitas laying around here. So I get it, guys, man. But I don't know, digital future is just so scary. So I think after the Switch 2 launch, that when the hype died down, morale for the system may go down. PC handhelds on the rise, and with Nintendo supporting physical less, these PC handhelds is looking like, maybe that's the way they should go. You understand what I'm saying? So, but having that physical media is what separated the Switch from those PC handhelds. Believe it or not, I'm one of those guys who actually rather purchase and play my games mostly on the Nintendo Switch. Just the fact that we have cartridges. That's what separates Nintendo from everybody else. So once Nintendo, goes all digital, the only thing that may give them a little fighting chance is just their first party IPs, and I feel like at some point that may not be enough, because outside of Nintendo's first party IPs, third party games are going to be on all other platforms, and we know Nintendo don't ever get all third party IPs. So it's like it just makes more sense to just go with those PC handhelds where everything is going to be on there. And you have achievements. I'm at a point where, like, yo, Nintendo, why don't you have achievements? I find myself buying the same game on Steam because it has achievements. And I don't really care about achievements that much, but I do care about it, if that makes sense. I'm not an achievement whore, but the fact that it's there makes me feel good that, okay, the game has some legs. I can go back and try and get this achievement. And Nintendo still doesn't have it in 2025. Now, I heard it has something similar to achievements called badges with select games. I mean, and that's mostly for Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. I don't know if those badges are going to be extended out to all their other IPs, and third parties might not even take advantage of that, because there's some games on Nintendo Switch that has achievements baked into the game itself, but not all of them, not enough. And it's cool if Nintendo had an achievement system in place where it shows your stats. You can compare your stats, completed games, and accomplishments against your friends. I mean, come on, Nintendo. If you're going to go all out and be like the competition, might as well go ahead and just throw some achievements in there. What's so hard in coming up with an achievement system? Believe it or not, achievement system can sway somebody to pick up the game on the competition's platform instead. So Nintendo always has 1 foot forward and like they take 3 steps back. But yeah, guys, so I'm not going to talk too long on that, man. But I think the morale for the Switch 2 is going to drop after the honeymoon phase, after the launch, and people just may be upset with Nintendo again because of their scummy business practices they're doing with going all digital. They cannot drop physical media. Now you need to be online to play your games now, and it's just, I don't know. I just don't like the direction they're going. I hate that little virtual game key card sharing thing because it never works for me. It's just stupid. So I'm going to close out this video by talking about Clear Obscure Expedition 33. That's a long name, so I'm just going to call it Expedition 33 pretty much just like everybody else. We all know it's a phenomenal game, a great RPG. It revitalized turn-based games. Turn-based games were never gone. They were still there, but not at the forefront like the action RPG games. But Expedition 33 did get people back to playing turn-based RPGs, which I do think are the best kind of RPGs. I don't care what anybody say. Come on now, let's keep it real. So why am I talking about Clear Obscure Expedition 33? Well, it needs to come to the Switch. And being that the Switch 2 is so popular right now, and it's not even it has gotten positive feedback, and developers definitely aren't gonna try and miss out on putting their games on the Switch 2 like the mistake they made with the OG Switch. So I'm thinking for real, guys, I'm gonna call it that Expedition 33 is heading to the Switch at some point. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And I think Nintendo was gonna probably show this game at one of their directs. And I've also heard, honestly, guys, this is not coming from me, I'm not making this up, but I came across some valid information. I've actually heard that developers are actually talking with Nintendo, or rather Nintendo has been talking to the developers of Expedition 33 trying to get the game on the console. So I'm pretty sure right now Nintendo threw them a development kit and they're just trying to make the game work for the Switch 2, and we're gonna get a launch sometime throughout the year. Now, here's my thing. When this game finally hits the Nintendo Switch 2, please, Nintendo, you need to make sure the developer puts Expedition 33 on a cartridge, not a game key card. Expedition 33 is a game that needs to be fully on cartridge, and no matter the cost, I think if they put it on cartridge, this game will sell gangbusters on Switch 2. I believe that if Expedition 33 was on a Nintendo Switch 2, it'll definitely sell more, pulling more numbers than the Series X, PS5, and PC version. More people would love to play this game on a Nintendo console with no compromises, no silly update patches or workaround, having the system to be set to a certain watt to play the game. Everybody would love to just pop this game into their system and play it, guaranteed. So it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when Expedition 33 will be coming to the Nintendo Switch. And with that, guys, I'm gonna close out. And you know what would make me happy? If you guys would like and subscribe my videos like you have been doing with the last couple of videos, putting me on that high pedestal, man. I feel good right now. Anyway, guys, like and subscribe. Red Crimson Gaming, I'm out of here.